Welcome to Authentically You Podcast, the podcast that dives deep into a transformative journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-expression. I'm your host, Kirsty Hankin, and I'm here to guide you on a path towards embracing your true, unapologetic, authentic self. In this podcast, we'll embark on a quest to uncover the secrets to breaking free from societal expectations, shredding the masks we wear, and stepping into our own power. Each episode will explore the questions and challenges that our listeners face on their personal journeys, providing practical insights and heartfelt advice. But it doesn't stop there. Authentically You Podcast goes beyond just answering your questions. We're here to introduce you to a diverse lineup of incredibly knowledgeable professionals who will share their expertise, wisdom, and experiences. We'll bring you thought-provoking interviews that will inspire and empower you. This is Authentically You Podcast, unleashing life on your own terms. I'm Kirsty Hankin, and together, let's unlock the power within and live life authentically. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're in this together. Hello, and welcome to Authentically You. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm very excited about today's guest. Today's guest went to massage school in 2004 and wasn't fully aware of what was in store for her. Energy work was part of the curriculum, and even though she believed in energy, she wasn't 100% convinced about working with it. This led her studying at Atlantic University for a spiritual guidance mentoring certification. And today, energy work is a big part of what she does and what has helped her to really discover things about herself that are true and untrue. It's a continual road she is traveling on, and she is helping others find themselves along the way. Welcome to the show, the metaphorical midwife, Danielle Pitre. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you. So excited to be here talking to you tonight.
I'm so excited to hear about your journey and get deep down into it. So first of all, tell us about your sort of self-discovery journey into becoming authentically you. How did it start? And tell us about it.
Well, it's still definitely on it, but it did start with massage school. That was the place that once I got there and started the classes, things were being said and coming at me, not even so much, as far as the body and what you're learning about massage, but like the other spiritual things and the energy work material that I was like, where have I heard that before? Or I thought I made that up, like that's a thing. And these sorts of things that it just met me. And it was just so surprising. And from there, just continually getting more into it and learning more about it day by day is where the journey took me.
We are all on that same journey, aren't we? It doesn't matter how far we come in the journey, there's still more to come, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes. So when you went to what made you go to massage? And do you think that was sort of a guide to lead you there to start your journey, do you think?
Absolutely. The way that it happened, I worked in the hotel industry. I was meeting planning, wedding planning, conventions and things like that for a hotel. And the florist that I worked with, because we worked really closely together, she was in massage school. And she came up to me one day and said, "Hey, Danielle, do you want to go to massage school in Hawaii?" is what she said. We didn't go to Hawaii. We went to Colorado. But I was like, well, duh. Yes, I do. And it was just sort of a wild hair up my butt kind of thing, let's go. So honestly, I had no idea what I was getting into. I just wanted something different and wanted something that I could work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to work for a corporation or a hotel or someone telling me what to do with my life and my time and that sort of thing. So it just happened.
Yeah, that's incredible, because that's how I sort of got into it as well. You get to a point in life where you're like, I don't really want to work for anyone else. I'm sick of being told what to do. I'm sick of not having the flexibility that I know that I feel like I need. And then that's
Yes.
when it sort of all starts. And I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
started for a lot of people in that sense, where you get to a point where you're fed up with the societal expectations. You're fed up with not being able to do the things that you truly want to do. And that's when you go, right, I'm moving towards that now. Let's move towards it. That's a good
Yes.
journey, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, I feel like if all of us in the world did the thing that we really wanted to do, so many problems would be solved.
Yeah.
Though the world would still be functioning, we would still get our things, get, whatever it is that we needed, it would just function a lot better. People would be so
Absolutely.
much more happy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, and happiness would run the world, wouldn't it? If everyone was happy, you can just imagine the world, just like you said, functioning. We're still doing the things that we need to do, but in a lot happier state.
Yes.
Yeah, I can just feel that now. Actually, I've got the energy of that. It's like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's what we should be. That's what we're aiming for.
Yes.
And
Therapists, a lot of therapists may be out of a job, but it would be they would find something else that they would enjoy doing.
exactly. They could maybe help in different other ways. So when did you? So your journey started after massage school. Where did it go from there? What did you do sort of next after that?
Well, I was living in New Hampshire at the time. We went to Colorado to massage school, and in massage school, I met someone who we then ended up living in another part of the US for a while. Well, eventually I had to make it back to New Hampshire. All my stuff was there. I mean, my I literally did not go back home. And so I kind of, it sort of went into a lost sort of space after massage school, and I think that does happen after you're not going back to your previous life after something so big has met you and you've changed and that, well, this is what I want to do. I just don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet, where I'm going to do it, that sort of thing. So there was definitely a period of feeling a bit lost. And then eventually I did make it back to New Hampshire, then back to Tennessee where my family is, and just started working for a spa. Went into that sort of thing. And, and then it continues where, you're working with people, especially in a spa setting where there might not be a lot of that energy work going on, but there's a body on the table and you're like eventually thinking, well, I can't help but recognize that something else is here with us. And so that is when it really started to take off more on the energy side, because I do more of a physical, and I could do neuromuscular, more of like a medical type massage, and I enjoy that. But it's this other, it's just these two balancing parts of ourselves that's like, well, but this other thing exists, and I can't help but deny, I can't deny it at this point. And I'm interested. It intrigues me. It fascinates me. And and I'm a somatic therapist too. So it just started to really take off towards that side. The scales started to weigh out with the energy work and somatic side more, because it was just fascinating. People coming in with, they have this going on with, just for simplicity's sake, this going on with their shoulder. A really interesting one was a client that I worked with once a month, at least, maybe more, high pressure job. And he would come in and his shoulder was, like rock. And a lot of people are like
Yeah.
this, right? They're like,
Yeah.
there is no I can work on you for the 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours. Nothing is penetrating this, like
Yeah.
nothing is changing it. I mean, it might be a little bit, and you might feel better, but like that rock is coming back or it's not going anywhere. After he retired, I swear the next time he came in, I could get into his shoulder.
Yeah.
It was like the weight was lifted, right? The burden was gone. And so it was that sort of thing where when I would talk with people about perhaps this part of your body is representing this, it's just the physical manifestation of this thinking and these emotions that are living here within your body until you're ready to be at peace with them or let them go. How does that strike you? And people would just be fascinated by it because it's reading the body.
Yeah.
It's telling you about you through your own self.
Yeah.
And it's like so right on it could be broad, but it's still so right on every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, our body holds so much, but it's also that that energy piece that really comes before this physicality.
Yeah. It's an incredible thing, the body, isn't it? So much goes on with it. We don't treat it well sometimes, and it still stays with us and just tries and tries to heal us and inside out. But sometimes we just need a little bit of help, especially when you don't know.
Yes.
About it.
The only thing that we have with us throughout our whole lives.
Mm.
It's our body.
Yeah.
So it's going to hold everything.
So what gave you the courage to go to, or was it Orlando? The university.
Oh, Atlantic University?
Yes.
Oh, for the spiritual guidance?
Yeah.
Well, that came a long time later. And this was at a time when, coaching wasn't even a thing. And honestly, even in massage school, I feel like we were trained for coaching, even though those weren't the words.
Yeah.
Because we were trained in somatic, we were trained in energy, and that lends to that naturally. And we had classes for that, but again, weren't termed coaching. And so at the time that I went to Atlantic University, I was just looking for something because I was so drawn to like shamanistic things. And though I would not necessarily call myself that, but I do feel very aligned with it in many ways. And so I was just looking for something, just what can help me. And so many things would come and I'm like, no, it's not it. And eventually I just stumbled on, I don't even know how, on Atlantic University, which is Edgar Cayce, if you're familiar with him.
No.
It's he's long since passed, but it's his school. And thought, well, this.
All I'm getting for you is divine timing. So you weren't meant to find it till you found it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you were feeling that lost sense of you'd come from the massage school, you knew that like your past wasn't quite where you wanted to be, and you knew you were sort of moving forward. Where do you go? What do you do? If someone else in the audience is listening and maybe in that state at the moment where they're like, I know I'm meant for more, but I don't know what. How did you get through that stage?
Yeah, because you're really good to pick up on that, because that is something that I still struggle with, but can recognize now. I recognize those moments of the floating, is how it feels, right? You're just floating, or you're so inward that you're like, nothing interests me. Like, oh, I'm so nothing. And when I get into those moments now, instead of fighting my own self, just be. I'm like, listen, Danielle, I talk to myself. If nothing interests you right now, then nothing interests you. It's fine. It's okay. You don't have to go searching for something to see if a spark can happen. Just be where you are. which, all of that in and of itself takes practice and other help as well. But that's, just learn to be where you are and just be okay. Even in the frustration or however it is that you're feeling that you don't want to feel.
Yeah.
Just got to be there.
Yeah. And that's quite a hard thing to get into, isn't it? Especially in this day and age and how fast paced the world is at the moment, to actually just sort of stop and go, it's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And understanding divine timing is quite something that you don't really hear enough of, but when it will be, it will be.
Yeah.
You hear that a lot. And things will come if you're in the right mind frame and if you are okay with yourself, the opportunities, and if you're on the right path, the opportunities, the ideas, everything will come to you, and when it's time to, when it's divine timing, when it's ready. Some things do come to you before then, but they're not quite ready to be unleashed. Does that make sense?
Yes, because I think that is actually what happens, because so many of us are, something comes to you, an idea, a concept, a hope, whatever it is, comes to you, and you're from here to there. You're like, I'm already there, and you can see it, but there's so many steps that are before I got the information. I mean, it's just like the energy. It's crown energy. Like, I received the information, but before it can get down into your root, into your reality, you got a lot of steps to go.
Yeah.
But we can see it, which is awesome. And that's what makes it difficult, because we feel in some sense like we're already there, but we're actually not. And I take comfort in now, when those things do come to me, I don't consider myself psychic at all. I mean, obviously I'm intuitive and I can see things, but I take it as, oh, that's just telling me that that's gonna be. It's gonna be. Not today, maybe not even tomorrow, but it's gonna be. So all I have to do is wait for it, do things as it comes, as needed towards that end, but it's here. I'm just like with massage school, I'm gonna meet it when we are at the same place.
So it's not a quick fix, and that's another thing in this day and age, isn't it? Like,
yes,
we see something, we got to go for it. We got to have it now. Just sit back, relax, lean back into it, and it will be.
And I'm not a quick fixer. When people come to me, that's something that, and I'm sure with you, anything with coaching, expecting or wanting the person that you've come to for help to give you that help in the sense of, you tell me. And I know my clients get frustrated with me sometimes, but I'm like, I'm not here to tell you. I'm here for you to tell you. This is not a quick fix.
And that's the best way of coaching, getting them to learn to understand it, isn't it?
Yes.
So another courage question: leaving your old life and going to the massage school, that was probably your biggest courage, having to dive deep into for courage to make that change, even though you did a quick sort of, yes, this is what I want to do. How did you go about that courage?
That's so interesting, because I guess I'm just an adventurer.
Nice.
Because I did not recognize that at that time. I know other people might see it that way.
Yeah.
But it never occurred to me that I was being courageous. It never occurred to me at all. It was just like, this is it. Matches. Yep. Sounds good. I can do it. Why not? Here I go.
Yeah.
So it never.
You sound very aligned with yourself, even without even knowing. So even back then, you sort of so in tune with yourself that you knew that was going to be the right path, and you were happy to take it. That's why you didn't need the courage. I love that, Danielle.
Yes. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. How can everyone else do that? How can everyone
Oh
else
my
be
gosh.
so aligned?
I know, and that is a goal, for sure. But trust me, everyone has their things, and there are many things that would take a sense of courage that potentially I just don't do.
Yeah. So when we talk about the expectations that the world has on us at the moment, or not just at the moment, throughout our lives, how can we move towards being our true authentic self without the fear of rejection or hurt or just being completely scared?
Yeah, for me, I think that's in large part where energy work does come in, because once I really started getting into it, I recognized that even within each energy center, we have choices.
Mm-hmm.
And when we know that there are choices, like you're saying, how can we, learn to be with fear of rejection, for example? Well, you learn that there's a choice. You could either own rejection, or
Mm-hmm.
you can own something else, and I'm all about nuance. You're not going to get from rejection to openness, or whatever its opposite is,
Yeah.
but you can go in a nuanced direction towards what you would like.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all a learning process, just those little bitty moves and steps between one thing to another. That's where you really learn about yourself and begin to become aligned.
So what would be the first thing that you would, or a first little tip that you would give someone that is struggling with societal expectations? What's one little tip you could give them?
Oh, I'm so bad with tips.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so bad
Advice?
with tips. Only because I feel like such a deep person that it's hard for me to find something simple.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I wish, gosh, I wish I had simple tips, and I guess this, the tips are not simple, or they're not easy. I guess they're
Mm-hmm.
they're simple but not easy. Um, and I always say that everything starts with awareness.
Mm-hmm. So tell us
So
about awareness. Yeah.
so if you wanted to start with something like that, then learning to be mindful. You could start with something like mindfulness. Um, Figuring out what is coming into your field as stimuli. Just be aware of what it is. Let's stay on rejection here, just for the sake of an example.
Mm-hmm.
If you are dealing with rejection and you feel like that is what is coming at you, then learning to be aware of some part of that rather than that as a whole, because when it comes at you, it feels so big, and it's just rejection. We just put it in that box of big old rejection. So learning how to pick apart what is within that is coming at us. So for example, when you are feeling that rejection, you notice that is something that you work with. Where is it coming from? Only people that you date? Is it coming from family? Where is the rejection from? So you take one piece of it. Let's say it's just the dating world. Okay. Then you take that dating piece. Is it only this type of person, men that have corporate jobs, or men that act like my father, whatever it is? And so awareness is everything. It's just piece by piece by piece. Learn that big thing that's coming at you and then start to break it apart.
Nice. I like that. And it is all about finding the root cause, I guess, for that, not trauma, but whatever we're talking about, whatever is,
Yes.
whatever's stopping you.
Yeah.
Yes. I love these conversations. I love it. I'm always learning myself. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's a good tip. It's fantastic. I love it. And
Yeah.
what has been your biggest highlight from being your true authentic self? Your highlight or your biggest achievement?
I would honestly, a big part of it is noticing how different I am around my own family.
Mm-hmm.
Just comparing the Danielle
Yeah.
before I finally clicked in to, not I'm the youngest child, so it's like everyone knew better than me kind of thing. That's, using that as an example.
Yeah.
Or I'm different in this way because everyone else is like this. And just recognizing that I'm completely comfortable just showing up as I am, who I am, saying what I would say, not trying to say it like, oh, this fits in with them. It's like, take it or leave it. I am part of your family. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I enjoy it so much to this day. I know what it was like before,
Yeah. What has your family, what have they noticed? Have they said anything? Have they been sort of, ugh, or have they been accepting of it?
They've been accepting of it. And I think that it doesn't happen all the time. I won't say it happens all the time with people, but I do think that when there's actual caring involved between relationships, that when you accept yourself, the people that care about you are going to accept that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that they agree with everything, but the point is that we can disagree in a way that no one is pouting or no one's punching or, it's just a regular conversation, but there happens to be disagreement in it.
Yeah. And I keep saying this all the time, but a disagreement doesn't have to be, or anything that you disagree with doesn't have to be worded in a way that's going to offend them. It can be worded in a way that is kind, and but you still get your point across, which I think is very important to being your authentic self.
Yes.
Yes. What have you had any times where you have been your authentic self and you have had someone sort of object it, or not accept it, or gets defensive or anything like that?
I definitely have. Just because the instances that come to mind are living in Tennessee, and I don't know if you know much about the US and how certain places, like this part of the US, they would call the Bible Belt, some parts of it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, as a massage therapist, but then also a practitioner of energy work, I would say to clients sometimes something about energy, and the response would be, "Oh, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that." So it's these kinds of things, or tarot cards, as though there's some kind of voodoo, and and so it's like, oh no, I don't believe in that, and that's fine. But and I don't take that as a rejection of, because it's not close people. Typically I don't believe that I have experienced a rejection of my true self in marriage. That would be a close person. And then otherwise these are, just casual encounters.
And so what we sort of notice with these people that are sort of closed off to the energy work and the authentically you, is it's got absolutely nothing to do with you. It is their situation, their problem, their religion, their however, whatever it is, and we don't need to take that on board. It's not personal, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Because
I'm still going to be doing it.
I think that's so important to get across to the people that when you are coming to being your authentic self, you have to own it and be proud of it. And if anyone makes you feel like you shouldn't be, it's not on you, it's on them. They are dealing with something there, they haven't let go of something, or they've got something going on in their life. Whatever it is, it's them and it is not you. It's the same with, I don't know why this has come up, but same with bullies. Same thing. You know, if someone's bullying you, something's going on in their life. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing at all to do with you.
Yeah.
Their issues.
Yeah.
That they're not dealing with.
Yeah.
Don't know where that comes from.
And it can be so difficult when that energy does come at you, like thinking of the bullies, you know. Yeah, wouldn't it be so awesome if we could all just recognize that when that's coming at us, you know, instead of being defensive back or feeling like we have to fight, or, you know, whatever nervous system reaction we go into, like just let people be them and then let me be me, and then we can just move on and carry on.
Absolutely. Yeah. I used to teach a few teens, and one of them was getting quite bullied at school. And I taught him that, you know, it's not you, it's them. And when you are talking to bullies, so when they're coming at you, just be nice and be kind and just spread that love, because it's sort of a game that they play where they're trying to get on top, trying to get at you and trying to get you sort of any sort of emotion. So if you yell at them or cry or, you know, get upset, they're like, yes, this is it. I'm winning. But if you go, if they say to you, oh, you're silly, you can say, oh, I know I'm silly, but man, I wish I could be more like you. You're not silly. Like, you seem like a really nice person. They're not going to come back at you with that. They're not going to go, they'll probably go, oh, yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it kind of stops them.
Yeah. So that's when they lose the they're not fighting back, so I'll step back and walk away and try and find somebody else. And that's how, you know, sort of kill them with kindness. Some ways that I like to use with them. And yeah, this boy transformed and was really excited about going back to school, you know, and going to school, and the bully didn't bully him anymore. And I actually taught him how to stand up for other people as well. So if that bully was bullying other people, just step on in and be kind.
Yeah.
And
that's so good. That's so good. And oh gosh, that is so needed with younger people, you know, because as adults, we hopefully, not all of us can, but we learn to handle it better when you're young like that. You know, you want to be liked, and I just look at the energy in that, and that solar plexus and dealing with heart energy. It's like that fight going on between those two things, and particularly the solar plexus, the less self-esteem person gets dominated by the excessive solar plexus energy, and there's that big imbalance of I'm going to take that from you, even though you have little to give. I have little too, but I'm going to act like I'm holding a lot of it, and I'm going to take yours too. You know, it's which that is fascinating to look at, but it would be great if we could all learn to stand in our personal power. It's a great idea, just to work with children, you know, that one thing alone.
Yes, well, exactly. If we start ideas, if we were to start with them young and teach them that sort of information, and they were brought up, that's how we can change the world. Right, Danielle, let's go.
We're on it.
But it also helps when you as an adult are in your authenticity and really being your true self and showing the way for your children or the nephews or whatever children you have around you, and leading them into being their true authentic self so they can be, this is giving me like, be their true selves and know it's safe.
Yes. Yes. I mean, all of that comes into play, and honestly, you just bringing that up, it's most likely because they don't feel safe
Yes.
in their own environments that they're in outside of the bullying atmosphere. The thing is, they're probably bullied, or they're probably
Yes.
dominated in some way somewhere
Exactly.
else, and don't feel loved.
Yes. Oh, love.
Yeah.
Just that's what we all want. We all want to be loved.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Anyone
all
else
trying
we
to come
love.
back to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So is there any other sort of tips? You don't want to use tips, sorry.
I know. Hey, you had me come up with one. I was like, "Ooh, let me see what I can cook up right there."
Well done.
We'll see what comes up.
Is there any sort of advice or anything else that might be coming through that for trying to get to being authentically you? I know the awareness, or is there anything more around awareness that you want to give more information about?
Well, just coming from the last part of the conversation that we just had, I mean, I think that's something that would be good information for all of us to recognize in the first place, is that this heart energy, and you don't even have to word it that way if someone doesn't like the way you talk about energy, but that what everyone's purpose in life is to come back to the sense of acknowledging our right to love and be loved, be accepted for who we are. And I always think of Bridget Jones. We love her as she is. It's that's what we're trying to be. And that is your only goal. That is your only purpose. And if we knew that from the get-go, we might have a different outlook about everything, but that's not something that I learned until much later on in any phrasing of that concept.
I just had the whole circular route of self-love, passing it down, making sure that your child is know that they're loved and love themselves, and then the next generation passing it down, and the next generation passing it down, and sometimes people get caught up in the circle of loving, not loving, loving, not loving, and it can be a vicious cycle of self-development that people jump on board and then jump off, and jump on board and jump off, because they're not getting that quick fix, because it isn't instant, is it? Yeah, it's a process.
And so many people are coming from a place of disadvantage, let's say, because they not only do they not know that that's an idea or a concept that they can claim, they're not even worried about that or recognizing it in that way, because they're just trying to survive. Coming from this place of, like we were talking about, safety. I'm just trying to be safe in my own home, or whatever the case is. So yeah, just if that could be big enough to be a message that is learned about regardless of what your normal environments are, that would be amazing.
Yeah. My son's at a kindergarten, and they show a lot of that, and you can see some of the kids coming in without it, and they're like showing them and giving them so much love that you can see the transformation in these kids. I just hope it stays with them, and it doesn't get lost when they go back into their other environments. But yeah, if teachers are doing it, if we're all doing it, the world will be a beautiful place, won't it?
Yes. Boy, we sure are dreamier.
Exactly.
We're like, don't go to this place.
Oh man, that's so good. There's so much to do, but it's such an amazing journey. I want everyone, and I'm sure you do too. We want everyone to start their sort of journey to becoming their authentic selves, showing them yourself that love. Because when you're in your full love, your full authenticity, you radiate it to the people around you, and you inspire the people around you, and and if we can all do that, the effect of it is gonna ripple throughout the whole world.
Yes.
Oh, I felt that was deep. Okay. So Danielle, if anyone would like to work with you, how can they get in? How can they work with you? How can they work with you?
So my website is The Metaphorical Midwife, and right now I am working with one-on-one clients. I take them through a process, even if it's one-on-one, where again you're trying to reach in and grab aspects of yourself, not that full authentic self, because that's a tall order, that's a big thing, right? So just working with you in a way of, we're only going to focus on this part. So for example, I just finished launching the group experience, which is why I'm only doing one-on-one for the time being, but otherwise it's with groups or one-on-one. And we're working with the Fool's energy, which I personally love. The Fool. It is like one of my favorite archetypes. And that open and curious and what's out here and I'm ready to go, which reminds me a lot of me, like when I was talking about being an adventurer, like, let's go. It's just whatever's out there, we'll figure it out. So learning to embrace that part of yourself through aligning your energy with it. And we go through all of the energies and how to better align yourself with bringing out those Fool characteristics, because that's a piece of yourself that you may need to break out at any given time. Another one that I'll go into is the Queens, bringing out what queen resides within you. So that's where I am right now in the way that I'm working with people, bringing in archetypes, tying that with energy, and then just lining yourself up.
That sounds amazing. Sounds incredible. And I know that you have an amazing opportunity for a few people that can get in really quick with a freebie. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So if you go to I believe I gave a link with Authentically You.
I'll put it all on the show notes.
If you hear this, then you would just go to that specific link, and we're going to team up the Fool as an archetype, and then pull another card to match with, what is life asking of you to be open to and be adventurous about, and the path that you're on for steps ahead. Putting those together and just giving you a little bit of a mini reading.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. Jump on board, everyone. Be quick. There's only a few. Don't miss out. Thank you for that. And
You're welcome.
The last few things I've got are your fun, remember fun questions. Okay, let's go. If authenticity were a color, what color would it be and why? Fun.
Gosh, that is a good one. I would say my authenticity, or just authenticity in general?
Either or.
Because my favorite color is blue, but that's me personally. I like to exude blue energy. But in general, I don't know, is black considered one of those accumulation of all colors?
Yes.
Then I would say that one.
Yeah. Nice. And if you were an animal to express your true self, which animal would you choose and how does it represent you?
Oh, goodness. While I love dogs and I'd like to say dogs, I don't think that is my spirit. And oh, you know what? I love owls.
There you go.
Yeah.
How do you think an owl represents you?
The wise component, like we all think owls are wise, in that way. And we have one here around this property, and you can hear it going from one corner of property to another. You'll hear it across, and then you'll hear it back here. It's like it makes a square.
Yeah.
It protects the things within its perimeter.
You have a protector. Oh, we don't have owls in New Zealand that I'm aware of. Don't quote me on that, actually. Not in our area anyway, not in Auckland. Yeah, maybe in the countrysides.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's possible because you guys have animals that we don't have here. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And this is one of my favorite ones. If you had a magic wand and everyone in the world had to follow one ruling that you create, what would it be?
One ruling. Oh my goodness. Well, gosh, just based on our conversation, what comes to me is love one another.
Yeah. Imagine it. Imagine that. If only that was real and I had a magic wand and it would happen. That would be.
Gosh, if only I had that magic wand on myself half the time.
Yeah.
Remember, you come from
And what last words? Oh, sorry.
I would wear it out.
Oh, yeah. So would I, actually. Yes, now you say that.
Yes.
What last words do you have for our listeners? Any downloads, anything to do with their authentically journey or your journey? Any downloads?
Well, you know what I've been thinking about, just thinking about Authentically You, that being the podcast. And, that is part of my work too, being authentic. And because I like nuance, it struck me, and realness is part of my rebirth, is something that I use to showcase my values, right? So one of the R's would be relationships, and the other R is realness, because being real is slightly different than being authentic. Like being authentic is the bigger piece. Like you can't take that away. Like the authenticity piece, that is who we are. Like there really is no changing it. We just go against it or go away from it or whatever it is. But being real is showcasing that authenticity for moments at a time. Right. And it's not always love, right? It's not always the love that comes out, but the being real, whether it's love or dislike, I would hate to say hate, but whatever difference from that it is, whatever is real for you in a moment, that's authentic too. That's a piece of you, and to let that out as necessary as well. It's not all quote good.
Yeah. Wow. That is a great last words, Danielle. So real. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today on the Authentically You podcast. You have been amazing. You have given us so much information, and you've just been a wonderful guest. So thank you for being here. And everyone else, thank you for being here as well. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Authentically You podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained some valuable insights. If you'd like to stay connected with us, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kirsty Impact Coach, or Become Authentically You on the Facebook group. We'd love to hear your thoughts, feedback, and ideas for future episodes. Feel free to drop us a message or leave a review. Your input means the world to us as we continue to grow and improve. Remember, living authentically is a journey, and we're so glad and grateful to have you with us on this path of self-discovery and personal growth. Until next time, always remember to be true to yourself, embrace your uniqueness, and live life unapologetically, because you are truly remarkable just the way you are. This is Kirsty, signing off on the Authentically You podcast. Take care and keep shining bright.